This is hour two brought to you by ECAC Hockey, the leaders in hockey on and off the ice. Learn more at ecachockey.com. Happy to bring on Tony Maci, the new head coach for Union College for the women's team. Tony, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Shane.
So it's been a long run for you in ECAC hockey. So if you look back at your life, obviously you played at St. Lawrence, ECAC, you got to coach obviously at Princeton and then again for a long time at Clarkson University, and you just can't seem to stay away. So you got the new coaching opportunity to be a head coach for Union College. Talk about, that curving, windy road, but it always managed to bump you back into the ECAC hockey family.
Yeah, so I was playing down in Springfield in the North American League, and Coach Chris Wells there at St. Lawrence, who's now on the women's side, used to be on the men's side, came out, recruited me. He still jokes around and says, "Hey, you were the first recruiting call I had when I got to St. Lawrence." So brought me in and, got to meet the staff there, and Joe Marsh was great. Iconic coach in the ECAC for many, many years. Great person, really cared about his players, and made it feel like a home away from home for me. So did that for 5 years, and then kind of circling back, Coach Ron Fogarty, who was at Adrian when I was at Adrian in Michigan, had moved on to Princeton the year prior to me moving to Princeton. So when the job opened up at Princeton with Jeff and Kara, he was one that advocated for me and got me back into the ECAC in 2015. And then after a short stint there, it was about 10 months, an opening came up at Clarkson. I'd known Matt because Matt and I had played together at St. Lawrence for a year. So I'd known him at that point almost 15, 16 years. So he was like, "Hey, you got a spot, come on up. Let's see if you want to come back all the way up to the North Country." So did the little trek, and it was a good fit. His wife at the time, I had also gone to school with, so there was a lot of familiarity there. The program was ready to take next steps, even though they had already won in 2014. They were ready to take those steps the next couple of years, which we were fortunate enough to win those 2 years as well.
So this year's your first year as the head coach, and talk about wrapping your mind about that around that, because the assistant coaches have their specific roles, but the head coach, it's macro and micro. And coming into this season, what were the adjustments for you from intellectually, but also from an emotional standpoint of like, now you're the guy?
Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility with it. There's also a lot of fun in it. I took this job wanting to build something from where it's at now to where I see it becoming in, hopefully the near future. The big thing is also making sure that we have patience with it. It's not going to happen overnight. This is going to take some time to get, what we want established here as our culture, and what we want to make our team and our values here, expressed on the ice. And then that goes into recruiting as well, making sure that we're, bringing in the right people, the right characters, to fill out our roster, to make sure that we're, again, putting a team on the ice that we want and we expect to play, at a high pace, and at the top of our league. Our league's really tough, so we got to try and do that fairly quickly. But I think with the staff that I brought in and our mindset and ideals here, that we're trending in that direction.
Tony, do you think from your experiences from an academic standpoint and playing in ECAC, then being an assistant coach and helping the student athlete weave theirself through that very tough situation trying to manage academics in hockey, does it help you in terms of the recruiting process of understanding specifically what type of young women you need that are going to succeed under that pressure cooker? Because the academic aspect of it is very challenging.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been fortunate enough to do the Ivies as well as the 9 Ivies now. And all of the schools have been really rigorous. The academic side of things, you need a lot of help from the school itself, The professors do a great job at all the schools I've worked at to help those players along. There's a lot of good support. There's a lot of good support here right now. That was part of my decision as well. You know, having the support from not only our actual staff, but from our athletic director, from our academic advisors, those types of things. Those go a long way. You have to have those in place because it is a long season and school does get heavy at times. So having gone through it as a player, I understand the rigors of it as well. So, you know, just being able to manage time, going through with the players every year, every week, you know, hey, how are we doing? What do we need help in? Do we need help in things? You know, we have a lot of good academic players here right now, so they handle things well themselves. But there are times where you do need to make sure that you're leaning on somebody and getting that help. So we definitely have that here, and it's been great.
When you're sitting in the living room with, with a student athlete and the family, or one of the things that you really strive and look for is somebody who's gritty. And I don't necessarily mean gritty on the ice, but gritty mentally and emotionally, because they're going to have to go through a gauntlet, not only, on the ice, but off the ice as well. And do you try to identify that in your recruiting process as early as possible?
That's probably the number one piece that we really look for. I think like that's outside of like the actual hockey pieces, the grit piece is probably our number one. Um, you know, there's times where you're gonna have to grind through something. You know, we want people to, you know, get through a season academically where, you know, you're gonna have to figure it out. It's the same thing as after you get, you know, done with school. Life doesn't stop. You're going to have to grind things out. Things don't get easier. Things just get harder. You know, we talk about every day, you know, how do we handle hard? You know, do we handle hard the right way, or do we allow hard to kind of attack us? You know, we've got to take every day and attack, you know, the hard pieces so that now that next hard is a little bit easier.
Is that the message you end up sending to, your women players, is that both sides are hard. Winning is hard, losing is hard, success is hard, failure is hard. You got to choose your hard. Which one do you want to choose here?
Exactly. Yeah. We talk about choices all the time. We have a sports performance coach as well that comes in and works with us. Doc Wally does a great job and he addresses it as well. And again, it's just embracing that hard aspect because that's just what it is every day. Like things aren't going to be easy. And if they are easy, then we're probably not ready to compete in anything, whether it be academically, in the real world, or even on the ice.
Thoughts for your roster in the upcoming season? How impressive you've been with the group coming together. It's early. We're at the end of October, but coming to how quickly have they come together as a group?
Yeah, our leadership group and our older players have really taken what we've brought to the group this year and helped push that. You know, you need your older players to do that. You need your leadership group to do that, to be the examples. Again, not just on the ice, but off the ice, and really embrace our core values and you know, push those every day and speak to them and live and breathe them. So that's been huge for us. I think that, you know, there's definitely that initial buy-in that you have change, right? You've got people that have been here, they've been doing stuff differently. So how do we adapt? How do we again embrace the hard and keep moving forward?
Well, Tony, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Great insight and good luck through the season. And I'm looking forward when I get down there to watch you and your team play.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane.
We're going to take a short break on Hockey Prospect Radio. Stay tuned, and we'll be back right after these messages.